And David Bailey, many of the riders have taken a look at this track during practice and said, hey, they like the change of dirt, but it looks pretty easy. Nothing to define the good versus the also-rans.
Well, that's what these guys always say. They're always talking about how it's hard to pass. And you know what? I don't care what they build out here. These guys are always going to say that because everyone's so good now. You can see that's the longest start we've had this year. They're going to make a left, head into a tricky little section of rhythms, and then onto the first whoop section you see there in blue. Back around, all around the perimeter of the stadium over a series of triple jumps. Another whoop section before they cross over the starting line and back onto the finish line. That corner before the finish could be a block pass in heaven for the final laps of these races tonight.
The top 4 riders from each of the 2 qualifying heats advance directly to the main event, getting the best selection of gate positions. The rest go to the semis where the top 5 qualify. Only 2 more positions available at the 20-rider gate. Those 2 coming out of the last chance qualifier. Just before heat number 1 gets underway here tonight, let's check in with Davey Coombs trackside.
Last week we found out that Jeremy McGrath can in fact be defeated. The 2 guys behind me, David Villeman and Mike LaRocca, were able to move up in the points table. But check this out. The season is going to be a quarter way through tonight, and Jeremy says he's ready to get back on top. He doesn't like to make excuses, but 2 things he had going for him last week. His good friend Jimmy Button was injured in practice, and he lost his front brake in the first turn. We'll see how Jeremy comes back tonight, but he says he's ready.
LaRocco second in points. David Villeman won his qualifying heat last week. A preview of the whole shot, lead every lap, main event for his very first 250 Supercross win last week in San Diego. So he's getting set once again to try and take a psychological advantage, David, and win this heat race and go directly to the main event.
He's going to have to do it from a mid-pack start.
LaRocco cutting into a second place start with Ricky Carmichael taking the whole shot. Larry Ward now, who's riding with a cracked rib, is in second place. Ward going down hard in the last race in San Diego. There's John Dowd, number 16, hitting the turf.
He just got bumped into somebody and went off to his right, it looked like, but Villeman did a fantastic job of getting through those first couple of corners clean and getting himself into 4th place. Heading into the first corner, he was mid-pack.
As Ricky Carmichael leads and Larry Ward, his Team Kawasaki teammate, in second. Let's take another look at it.
Yeah, it did look like Dowd got connected with somebody there on the Honda. Maybe that was Sebastian Waugh. That's not the way you want to start your night. And it looks to me, even if he rides fantastic from here on out, he's still going to be headed for the semi.
This is going to be interesting with Mike LaRocco in third. Mike LaRocco is known for not getting good starts and coming from behind, but can he take the lead? This is a good test before we get to the main event for LaRocco. Here's LaRocco, number 5.
Here's
number
what I think.
934 right behind him is Villeman.
Here's what I think is going to happen, Art, is the way the track's designed, there's a lot of corners that are wide open, and you have to go in there on the inside and protect your line. And right now, he's got to worry about Villeman. Oh,
Mike LaRocco goes over the bars. David Villeman holding up. Sebastian Waugh also behind him, number 31. So Mike LaRocco now might have a tough time making it directly to the main. In fact, it looks like he'll be going on to the semifinals. Take another look.
Well, check out his timing through here. He's thinking about trying to hop over this jump here at the end. He sets the front wheel down. I think that just caught him completely by surprise. And
back wheel comes crushing down on him.
I'm glad to see him get up the way he did, and Villeman didn't hit him. I was thinking that could have been a collarbone. You see him fiddling with his shoulder pad. Hopefully that's all that it is.
So Mike LaRocco will be on his way to the semifinal round.
That was a absolute classic endo.
Boy, could this be a confidence boost for Ricky Carmichael.
He needs one right now. So does Larry. Both these guys have been riding well in the practice sessions. I've seen them ride during the week. They look sharp, but things really haven't been coming together for them in the main events. They're either riding well and don't get the start, or they get the start and they get tight and fade back. Here's an opportunity for him to get the ball rolling.
Larry Ward, number 10, experiencing a slow start on the season. He had a sore back when the season started. And of course, last week's crash. I'm surprised he's up there now as they all lap number 5, Mike LaRocco. Carmichael, Ward, Villeman, Waugh, and Craig in the top 5 positions. Only the top 4, remember, make it to the main event.
And now these guys both realize that LaRocco is going to have to go to the semi as they continue to click off 58-second lap times, which is as fast as we've seen all day in the practice sessions.
Both Ward and Carmichael clicking off 58-seconders.
There was more like 59 in practice, so the track, they've reworked it slightly since practice. Also the race, the intensity, the adrenaline, you tend to have that lap time come down about a quarter to half a second.
With 5 laps to go in our opening qualifying heat from Phoenix, Arizona, we'll be back with more EA Sports Supercross in a moment. On selected models. Welcome back to Phoenix, Arizona. EA Sports Supercross underway. Our 4th round of the season. Ricky Carmichael leading our opening qualifying round.
And he's looking sharp. He's starting to put a little bit of time on his teammate Larry Ward, and I think what Ward's going to have to worry about slightly, same as LaRocco was, is Villeman is starting to put the pressure on.
There you see Villeman on the Team Yamaha in pursuit of Ward, who looks back to see who's there. Cutting to the inside is Villeman, making the move. Here comes Larry Ward back. Retakes 2nd place. 4 laps to go, David.
I like to see that too. Villeman could have gone in there and taken the front wheel of Larry Ward. These guys have a lot of respect. It's a long night. And he's confident in the way he caught him. He'll be able to do it again.
Here comes Villeman cutting inside. This time, will he make it stick?
He still got the job done, and both times he didn't have to make contact.
Important for Larry Ward to qualify here coming out of the qualifying heat and not have to go to the semifinal or the last chance qualifier because of that sore shoulder. So he wants to hang on to 3rd place even though he's losing time to David Villeman.
With 3 laps to go, Villeman, it's possible he could get up there and start to bother Carmichael a little bit because his pace is pretty quick. At 57-second lap time, it's only a second faster than the leader, but lapped riders, a couple mistakes by Carmichael, and this could be a real race to the wire. That final corner before the checkered flag is going to be interesting all night.
This is Ricky Carmichael's first race in Phoenix. He was injured last year, of course, with the very bad injury in San Diego, the race right before this one.
I lived in Tallahassee for a while, that area of Florida where Ricky's from, and this is the kind of soil that you have down there. He may be real comfortable right now.
Ricky looking for his very first heat victory on the season. This is his 2nd year in 250 Supercross, but it's his first full season on a 250. He went back to recapture the 125 National Outdoor Crown last year.
I really love this dirt, but I'll tell you what, the whoop sections are getting beat down so quickly. There's nothing they can do about it. They've tried to water it, steamroll it, do everything they can to pack it down, but when it gets worn out in one groove, that's where it becomes one line. Normally, that's a place to pass.
A good shot showing us the interval between Ricky Carmichael and David Villeman in 2nd place. Villeman with a near perfect ride last week in San Diego.
I'll tell you what he does that I really like. Watch how early he gets on the power. So he comes in there skidding, already he's on the power, that wheel starts to track, and he's in a controlled slide on the power earlier than most of the other guys, and he makes up just a split second every corner that way.
Final lap now. The white flag lap is underway for Ricky Carmichael and David Villeman. Larry Ward still hanging on to 3rd with Jean-Sebastian Waugh in 4th place. Heath Voss, the privateer, in 5th, but looks like Waugh's got the best shot at it. Ricky Carmichael staying up on 2 wheels. The move-over flag is out for the leaders as they come by on their final lap.
All Ricky really needed to do was get a win like this, establish a little bit of rhythm. I don't think he's worried about Villeman coming up. Maybe he's only about a half a second slower lap, and right now it doesn't matter. He's just studying the racetrack for the main event.
I might be mistaken, but his last heat win was in San Diego before the accident in the main event.
Over Jeremy McGrath.
Absolutely correct. His best finish last year was a 4th place.
And he just shows us the drain plug.
The checkers for both Ricky Carmichael and David Villeman, 1 and 2 in our qualifying round. Our first one of the evening from Bank One Ballpark in Phoenix. Larry Ward hanging in there well. And Stefan Roncada has taken over 4th place as we take a look at those who've qualified and moved directly to the main event. Carmichael, Villeman, Ward, and Roncada just edging out Jean-Sebastian Waugh, who will go on to the semifinal round. Let's go down to Davey.
Well, Ricky, on your first visit here to Bank One Ballpark, the place seems to agree with you. Do you like the dirt or something?
I love the dirt, Davey. I tell you what, my Kawasaki's working awesome. It feels good to be up here. Just taking me a little bit longer on the 250 to work up to the level that these guys are at.
You definitely look comfortable out there.
Thanks a lot, Davey.
Ricky Carmichael, an inverted pancake. At least in pancake they called it in your days, but it's more like a flapjack now. Jeremy McGrath and the rest of the 250's next qualifying round coming up.
Welcome to Loudon Motorsports.
Everyone knows Loudon Motorsports is the place to go for the Honda motorcycle, scooter, or ATV of your dreams.
Motorcycles are very hot right now. I think people have disposable income and they're spending money on toys where they were sort of afraid to a couple of years ago. So I think we're here at the right time.
We feature all Hondas, from the 6-cylinder Valkyrie to Honda's tough ATV, the Foreman 450. Our certified mechanics will keep your machine in top condition. Plus, Loudon Motorsports provides everything for all your motorcycling needs. Visit Loudon Motorsports.
Have you listened to Z104 lately?
The new Z104. Today's hit music. Now, music for all people. Today's hit music.
Give me the Z.
The new Z104.
The website is an extremely valuable asset to us here at ESPN. We utilize it every single day.
Yeah, it looks like Loudon will pitch game 1. Yep.
We log on every morning, everybody in the department.
We check someone's batting average, who's been traded, who's been benched.
When a producer calls us. Oh my God, Rafter pulled out of the tournament. We have to change the spot.
I'm working. St. John's is ranked number 23. The guys out there, they're always on it. The website's crucial.
ESPN.com. Go where the pros go.
I don't see how we could get through a day without it.
Welcome back to more EA Sports Supercross as we get set for our second qualifying heat with Jeremy McGrath leading things off. Check out the hole shot. McGrath cutting to the inside. He's got the hole shot and the lead. Number 14, Kevin Windham in second place. Greg Albertine fighting to get into third place.
There is no way Jeremy could have gone through that first corner any better than he did. He's still got Kevin Windham breathing on him right now. This is the matchup that we've been waiting to see all year. These guys have been the hot dogs in the practices. They both have all the natural talent and skills. Windham has proven that he can beat Jeremy, and we're going to find out right now.
Jeremy has won every qualifying heat he's run so far this year. Can he hold off number 14 of Team Honda, Kevin Windham? On the podium, 2 of his first 3 races, Windham wants to prove a point. Check out the start again, David.
All the way on the right, that was Tim Ferry getting bumped right away, so he comes into the corner in last. Jeremy cuts off the inside just to make sure Windham can't sneak in there, or Albie. And just gets around that corner beautifully. You see Albie getting on the power early, getting out of there clean as well.
Grayson Goodman, always a good starter, was in that mix. A good friend of Jeremy McGrath's. As we go back to our leader, Jeremy McGrath, here in our second qualifying heat, already starting to pull a bike length or 2 on Kevin Windham. In third is Greg Albertine, number 7.
In the past, Kevin has always rather be behind Jeremy, so he doesn't have all that pressure in the beginning. He can study Jeremy a little bit and get around. The one race where he really beat Jeremy, in my opinion, fair and square, was Tampa. He came from behind to do it.
Tyler Evans in 4th. He's a 125 East rider. He's right in front of Goodman. Got a good chance at qualifying directly to the main event. That 125 East is going to be loaded as we check out the battle for third. There's Tyler Evans right there, number 45. Evans on the DeMarini Suzuki.
He does so much for you to be able to get out there and run with these guys. Good start. Just being able to see what these guys are doing and get into their groove helps so much. This could be the beginning of a great night for Tyler.
So Suzuki's in 3rd and 4th as we go back, as Windham now has picked up the pace on Jeremy McGrath.
He had lost just a little bit of ground, but he's picked it back up. Now he's almost in striking distance. If Jeremy were to make a mistake, Kevin need to be a little bit closer to take advantage. These guys are running 57-second lap times right from the get-go. That's what it came down to in that first heat.
On track interval right there, you see it. The last lap and this lap. Jeremy McGrath continues to hold off a charging Windham.
See all that finesse right when they come off the triple there, getting on the brakes, not trying to lock them up too much, let it track, get back on the power. It's one of the sections where Villeman has been so strong.
Albertine still holding on to 3rd with Evans in 4th. Remember, only the top 4 transfer directly to the main and get the best lock-in of gate positions for the main event.
I'll tell you what, watching McGrath and Kevin Windham, these guys just make it look so easy. Everything is just so nonchalant for these guys. It really makes me just want to go ride and watching them. It make it look so much fun. They put the bike exactly where they want, and you watch everybody else, you kind of get the feeling that, I don't know, maybe that looks dangerous. I don't know if I want to do that or not. These guys are just a beauty to watch.
Back to the bubble position now. It's Albertine in third with Tyler Evans. And number 15 is Tim Ferry. Tim Ferry now has moved in front of Evans into 4th position. So Ferry starting to pick up things on Greg Albertine. Ferry has looked so smooth lately, Dave.
He has been awesome. He just had that bad race at the first Anaheim. But other than that, he's been riding very well, and it's got to help to have a teammate like McGrath.
We'll see if Ferry can hold on to the final transfer spot. He was the top privateer last year in Supercross. We'll be right back to Bank One Ballpark in Phoenix, Arizona for more EA Sports Supercross in just a moment.
Used to be, you could customize any part of your bike, except the tires. But now, create a striking design from the ground up with the bold new Cruise Max from Dunlop. Performance and style, with custom options like classic black, wide white, or raised white leather. Whichever design you choose, you'll make a statement without saying a word. Cruise Max from Dunlop.
How could we make the chalupa even better?
You could put nacho cheese sauce on it.
Introducing the Nacho Cheese Chalupa, loaded with our warm, zesty nacho cheese sauce. How do we come up with this stuff? Now just 99 cents. Only at Taco Bell.
Starting to feel a little cramped by your present surroundings? RE/MAX can help you find a new home while selling your current one to someone who'll find it absolutely perfect. Look for RE/MAX. Nobody sells more real estate.
ESPN and ESPN2 are live from Daytona for Speed Weeks. From practice and qualifying to live coverage of Speed Weeks major races and events, we've got more than 50 hours of racing news and highlights. And every night, get a complete rundown of the day's major stories on ESPN2's RPM Tonight. For more complete coverage, more races, more on-site reporters, plus the nightly show that revs you up for the next day's action. Tune in to Speed Weeks on ESPN and ESPN2.
Welcome back to Phoenix, Arizona in our second qualifying heat. EA Sports Supercross, our leader is Jeremy McGrath, but Windham is right there.
Well, Ferry has made an unbelievable recovery. He got bumped right out of the starting gate, went into the first corner last. Look at this.
Ferry cuts in front of Greg Albertine, so Albertine is now on the bubble.
That was a beautiful pass, but I'll tell you what, even more important, there's an art to being passed the way Albie was. He was stuck up in the berm, couldn't reach the ground with his inside foot. He did a nice job of saving that because Ferry did catch him by surprise.
An incredible move by Ferry.
He just darts right to the inside right there, cuts off the line. He tries to be a little polite about it. There's some contact, but that's how you're going to have to get it done tonight.
Boy, he'd be having a heck of a season if it wasn't for that DNF in the mechanical in round number 1. Ferry, though, is coming back like a champion. He has won a 125 Eastern Supercross Championship and has certainly benefited by getting the deal in Chaparral from Chaparral. 7 and number 21, Sebastian Tortelli in the final transfer spot. Tortelli doesn't give it to his former GP World Champion. There's 2 GP World Champions fighting to get a direct transfer to the main event. Number 21, the Frenchman Sebastian Tortelli. And number 7, Greg Albertine, the National 250 outdoor winner this last year from South Africa.
You can see what I mean now as you watch these guys. You see little mistakes coming up short here and there. They're not getting right into the line they want or on the powers early. Trust me, these guys are riding beautiful, but it's just not quite the level of what you see out front with Jeremy and Kevin Windham. And on that, I have a feeling Kevin has just decided he's going to stay with Jeremy. I think that's going to be his strategy in this heat race.
It's the last lap for Jeremy McGrath.
Yeah, Jeremy has established a fast pace. I think for Kevin, he was just trying to study everything. He's losing some time now, and that's going to kind of wrecks my whole theory. I thought Kevin would try to stay with him, let Jeremy know if he can go his pace for 8 laps in the heat race, he might even have a couple of lines that are better he could use in the main, but he's not going to show him that here.
He's dropped some 3.8 seconds behind Jeremy McGrath. Both had a fast lap of 57 seconds, so they both are showing good quickness on this track, at least for the fast lap time.
Here's what I think that Jeremy's able to do. I think he's able to ride this fast pace that so far, anyway, in 6 of the last 7 years, these guys can't match. And he's able to do it at a lower heart rate. That way, if he comes up short like he did a while ago, he can make it up somewhere else.
So Jeremy McGrath takes the checkered flag. This is the 4th time in 4 rounds that Jeremy McGrath has won a heat race. And the battle as Tim Ferry and Greg Albertine, number 7, can coast across the finish line, taking that final transfer spot. So Greg Albertine does not have to go to the semifinal round as number 1 showed them all once again, David. Tortelli and Huffman will have to go to the semifinals. 2 very well-known riders. Another sellout crowd for the 4th consecutive weekend of EA Sports Supercross. Let's go down to Davey.
Well, Jeremy, after last week's loss, your first loss this season, come out firing here in the heat race.
Yeah, last week I got a bad start and I came in the first corner, and as I don't know if too many people know, but I rode the whole race without front brake. Rock went through my brake and didn't get third, so I couldn't get up there to tell everyone, you know. So, last week was a good salvage race. A few guys went on the ground for me, and I'm back in Phoenix ready to go.
Now listen, I know it's been a tough week out in Southern California. Your old teammate and your good friend Jimmy Button was hurt last week. They make it hard to prepare for this race?
Well, I live only 20 minutes from San Diego now, and Jimmy's been down there all week. And, first of the week was pretty bad. I was pretty balled up. As everyone knows, Jimmy's been my best friend for a long time, and that kind of hits home, And, the last 2 days we've heard very good news, really optimistic about his recovery, and that really eased my mind for sure.
Thanks, Jer.
All right, thanks a lot.
Jeremy McGrath certainly emotionally involved with the Jimmy Button situation, as many of the riders here tonight are wearing number 12 stickers on their bikes in honor of Button and a hopeful speedy recovery. We'll be back with more EA Sports Supercross from Phoenix in a moment.
Rated E for everyone. Super Cross 101. Oops. Whoops. Superman. Superman. Medic. This power band poppin' on the pipe handlebar to handlebar lesson has been brought to you by Supercross 2000 and the letters EA Sports. It's in a game.
By the year 2000, 10 million kids will end up on the streets and in the back alleys of our nation's cities, wandering from spot to spot, searching for a place to turn a trick. Vans on the streets in '66.
When Joe Sakic and the Avalanche face Steve Yzerman and the Red Wings, they don't need to stir things up, for the past is not the past, and all is not forgotten. Red Wings, Avalanche, Sunday at 8 Eastern, only on ESPN. This is the game.
2 years ago, racing in Arizona was, well, hotter than a firecracker. Defending champ Jeff Emig led the field in the mad dash to turn 1. But on the way out, it was number 13, Michael Craig, with the lead. In a few laps, number 2 shot Jeremy McGrath put the moves on Craig, moving into familiar territory, the lead. But a Georgia native nicknamed Yogi had other ideas. The nudge and gas it move, Ezra Lusk bulldogs his way to the front. McGrath, who's a fighter, would try the inside move and return the favor to Lusk. But no drive out of the corner, McGrath has to settle. Lusk took the win. That win broke a points tie with Emig. McGrath left Arizona 4 points in the lead.
It has is our 4th consecutive sellout for EA Sports Supercross. Here tonight in Phoenix, Arizona, more than 50,000 fans have packed Bank One Ballpark to see Supercross action. And boy, did they see it in the first 2 heats of action, David Bailey, as the first heat, the emergence of Ricky Carmichael.
Well, I think what helped was a great start. He had his teammate back there behind him. That always helps you relax. I say that all the time, but it really makes a difference. And then he seemed to find his own. I believe that the soil that he's racing on here tonight is a lot like what he rides on at home. Got the start, and that's really all he needed. The guy's good.
A disappointing qualifying heat for Mike LaRocco.
Well, you know, he was getting up in there and challenging, and I think he would have been a threat. He was starting to get into his rhythm, and he was trying to just work on the timing and set the front wheel down one bump too early, and I think that caught him by surprise. I mean, it just was an horrendous endo.
In the second qualifying heat, Jeremy McGrath did not get the challenge that we expected from Kevin Windham.
Well, I really had a feeling that Kevin, he kind of likes to get off behind Jeremy and study his lines, follow him. He doesn't have all that pressure. He can apply the pressure. I was surprised to see him in that last few laps start to drop off the pace. I think Jeremy's pace was either too much, or maybe Kevin's just saving a little something, trying to play some head games and make Jeremy think he's got it covered, come out in the main event with a little more.
Let's go down to Davey Coombs, who has his impressions from down on the floor of the stadium. Davey.
Well, I have to say Carmichael is the one that impressed me the most. I definitely think that's the best I've seen him ride at 250. I think the soil definitely reminds him of his home in the Southeast. Same goes with Kevin Windham. The big disappointment, of course, is LaRocco. It's the first mistake we've seen him make this year. As for McGrath, I mean, what can you say about the guy? Anytime, any place, line him up, drop the gate, that guy's got to be the favorite.
Okay, Davey, after we visit Houston, EA Sports Supercross moves on to Indianapolis. Not only will we see the greatest Supercross riders in the world, but it'll be the premiere of the 125 East Division. After Indy, it's on to Pontiac on the 19th, and then Atlanta on the 26th. Coming up next, we've got the semifinals, always exciting. But now we've got LaRocco, Dowd, Tortelli, and Huffman, some big names to compete. Coming up next.
No down payment. Low financing on Honda Valkyries and Goldwings. Low payments on Valkyrie, Shadows, and Magnas with the Honda card. It's the road to savings. Incredible deals on some incredible Hondas. So hurry to your Honda dealer during the road to savings. How far do you have to go to be the best on Earth? A long, long way. Introducing an all-new ATV with Honda's legendary reliability. Available with push-button shifting and four-wheel drive. The new Honda Rancher for the ranch we call Earth.
From all the race fans at Aaron's Sales and Lease Ownership, a Busch Series race with the drama of 12 extra miles.
12 extra miles?
It's called the Aaron's 312.
What kind of idiot approved 12 extra miles?
Ken Butler.
Well, what about pit strategy? What about tires? What about fuel? What about you two? Who are you?
We're the Aaron's 312 girls. Ken approved us, too.
The Aaron's 312, Atlanta Motor Speedway, March 11th on ABC.
Like I said, I like the way this Butler guy thinks.
Is this the kitchen you've been dreaming of? The luxurious bath? The spacious living room? For a limited time, this new 2,000 square foot home can be yours for just $2,000 down. Call this toll-free number now for the location of a participating Champion Home Center near you. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Stop dreaming and start living in a new home of your own.
This week's Honda Close-Up centers on Sebastian Tortelli's mechanic, Shane Drew.
Well, I started riding when I was about 10 or 11 years old, up in Canada, actually. We do about 10 local races a year. That was it, because that was all that the season allowed. But just started going from there. Rode myself professionally until 92. Then I got out of the sport completely for a couple of years, and I didn't like that at all.
He returned to help the veteran Kyle Lewis at No Lean. Shane took some friendly ribbing this last offseason as Sebastian's mechanic on the French Motocross the Nations team competing against the United States.
I'll work for Sebastian no matter who he rides for, you know, but it was, I don't know, maybe growing up in Canada, you know, I have nothing against, hope the Americans win, but I wanted the French guys to do good. And it was I don't know. The American guys, they rode me pretty hard all week.
Shane Drew, this week's On the Close-Up. Welcome back to Phoenix, Arizona, as we get set for our first semifinal round. Always some exciting action, but even more so maybe David Bailey. But number 5 here, having to go to the semifinals, Mike LaRocco.
Well, it's just unfortunate. There he is right there. Just, it looked to me like he's stretching out a little bit. Like he could be a little bit tight from the way he landed on the ground. He just got mushed into that face of the next jump, and it's surprising. Like Davey said, you don't see mistakes like that from LaRocco very often. I just nicknamed him the Rock. And then he just went out there and folded it up in the heat race.
Also the veteran number 16, John Dowd, along with Kyle Lewis, Michael Craig, who's done well in the past here at Phoenix, Kelly Smith on the KTM 4-stroke, Heath Voss, Sebastian Waugh, Shane King, a former 500 GP champion. It is sideways. We're ready to go for the first semifinal round from Phoenix, Arizona. John Dowd makes the corner first, number 16, but out in front is Sebastian Waugh, number 31.
That's just going to be happening all night long. These guys get into that corner so hot, there's no way they can hold the inside. If they were to slow down to be able to hold it, everyone would run right over them on the way in. So it's kind of catch-22 when you get the hole shot.
There you see number 31, Sebastian Waugh, the French-Canadian, who had a huge wreck in the first turn last week at San Diego. He's getting hounded now by John Dowd, number 16 of Team Kawasaki.
I think it was these two guys that were the ones that got together in the heat race. Not sure that it was Waugh. It looked like it was. Who Dowd collected with and went down. That's what put him in this semi in the first place. After a 5th place last week in San Diego, it's the last place he wants to be, but a little extra time on the track won't hurt John. It'll get him more comfortable, and fitness has never been a problem with him.
There you see a big battle going on. Shane King, the former GP champion. And there's Mike LaRocco.
Still got a ways to go.
7th place. Remember, the top 5 make it to the main event out of this one. Heath Voss, number 33. Number 41 is Kelly Smith. Number 43 is Michael Craig. So Mike LaRocco's got his work cut out for him.
Let's take another look at the start. LaRocco a little bit late out of the gate. He just gets closed off right away. Dowd looking over to his left, making sure he's got everybody on the inside cover. There you see LaRocco right in the middle of all that. He does that more often than anybody else I know, and he's so good at weaving his way through the pack without getting caught up in a crash.
Mike LaRocco still in 7th place now, makes the pass. He's now in 6th place after passing Michael Craig. That's Michael Craig, number 43. Craig, his last podium. He's won a Supercross race. That was in Tampa, Florida some time ago, but his last podium was 2 years ago here in Phoenix, catching a 3rd place.
LaRocco right now chasing Voss down to the inside. He's trying to do anything he can. Could have been a little bit aggressive right in there and made that pass stick.
Final transfer spot now. Mike LaRocco rubs a little plastic trying to get inside the privateer of Heath Voss, number 33.
Mike can get physical, and this is one of those times where he needs to do it. He let too many laps go by, sitting back there outside of a qualifying position to the main event. It's time to panic a little bit.
He might have a tough shoulder injury after that crash, David Bailey.
That's true.
But he's a tough rider. Always has been.
He'll do whatever it takes. He always has, and right now is one of those situations. He's going to have to get in there and get aggressive and put that pain on the back burner until he gets through this semi.
Heath Voss is not easy to get around. Go back to our new leader. It's John Dowd making the move on Sebastian Waugh. Sebastian Waugh, number 31, trying to get back at John Dowd.
That last lap from Dowd was 58 seconds, and the track has got a little wear and tear on it. I think it's actually getting a little bit harder to turn those 57. So John's pace right now is pretty fast. He's already starting to draw away a little bit.
Who will make it out of the semifinals in our first semifinal round here in Phoenix, Arizona to make it to the main event? We'll be right back to find out.
the demanding viewer. You rule.
If you're thinking about a new career, think about 7-Eleven. You'll find promotion opportunities, management experience, plus great benefits like flexible schedules, a health plan, and profit sharing. Hey, give us a call.
On the foul line of life, you stand alone, but that's not the way it has to be. Everyone needs a family. Taking a three-point shot for love, taking the bus on the big game day, taking a charge for the team you play for, taking a chance, going all the way. There's nothing you can't do, cause there's no I in team, but there's definitely a you.
Hoops Malone, brought to you by College Hoops, is coming soon to ESPN.
Welcome back to Bank One Ballpark in Phoenix, Arizona. Our first semifinal round. John Dowd has the lead on Jean-Sebastian Waugh, number 31. And they're turning pretty good laps. 59-second lap for John Dowd to a 1-minute lap for Jean-Sebastian Waugh. The final transfer spot, Mike LaRocco working hard at it. He's in 5th position right now.
He's not out of the woods. He's got people putting pressure on him. That's number 112, that's Kyle Lewis.
To his rear at number 110.
He's actually closed up a little bit.
That's right.
You know, watching the trouble Mike's been having get around people like Shane King and Heath Voss in the main event. All night long, the guys are going to be having trouble passing because the dirt is so soft here. It's kind of rutting out. It's a one-line track. If Mike gets a bad start in the main, he's really going to have to get physical.
Right on the tail end of Shane King. Shane King was a fine champion out of New Zealand. This is the white flag lap. Mike LaRocco, if he stays in this position, will make the main event as Kyle Lewis loses it to Heath Voss. Lewis fighting back now for that final transfer spot.
That could be good for LaRocco. While those two fight it out, he can get a little bit of a gap on him. Won't have to worry about protecting the inside and all the corners, especially right before the finish.
Shane King's an interesting story. He was going to concentrate on the outdoors this year and just do Supercross as an experience and get some experience in running a Supercross track, which he's not used to on the KTM 4-stroke. But he made his first event, first American made event, and LaRocco puts the heat on him, gets physical with him, and here's our leader, John Dowd. The checkers for John Dowd, winning the semifinal round. Mike LaRocco moving up to 4th. Shane King, if he holds that position, will still go to the main event.
Good ride for Kelly Smith as well, right up in front of LaRocco, also on that KTM. So you got a couple of those guys going to the main event.
They said they had to power back the KTMs to do well in Supercross.
There's so much horsepower for those things. If you can't use it all, why bother? Make that power usable. Even 400 is plenty.
A sellout crowd awaiting the appearance of our winner of the first semifinal round, John Dowd. Mike LaRocco in a KTM sandwich there. Mike, after crashing in qualifying, rode with a jammed shoulder so as to not sacrifice too many points. Coming into the race, he was only 4 points behind Jeremy. With Smith and King qualifying, it's the first time in Supercross history we have 2 KTMs in the main event. Let's go back to Davey.
John, I know that last week was your best ride of the year. You got 5th, and it looked like you carried it right into Phoenix.
Yeah, last week was definitely a good, my best week so far. The first 2 weeks were, I didn't get such good starts, but I hope I can take that, and work from it. It helps my confidence to, just getting a little better finish like that, and hopefully I can keep working on it from here.
Okay, John, let's go back upstairs.
Getting set for our second semifinal round. They're at the gate, ready to go. It is Sebastian Tortelli, who's 5th in points, along with Damon Huffman, 2 125 Eastern riders up there, Brock Sellards and Tyler Evans. Pavolny, Grayson Goodman, Water, you saw him on the screen, Jason Thomas, all trying to make the main event now out of the semifinals along with other riders. The board is sideways. Damon Huffman, number 20, got into the corner first, but coming out of it first place is Brock Sellers. Brock Sellers, number 18. Boy, what a nice move by Brock. And Sebastian Tortelli moves into third behind Huffman. Huffman now making the move, trying to regain the lead.
Not going to do it against Sellers this year. Sellers is so solid. He's got so much confidence right now. He's just oozing with it. After riding last week with McGrath for a lot of the main event, even though McGrath's front brake wasn't working properly, it was still had to feel good for him to get out there and run behind him for that long. He's comfortable out front now.
You know, David, you got to feel that this guy is no longer a dark horse to win that talent-laden 125 East. Our leader, Brock Sellers, I'm talking about, as we take a look at Damon Huffman right behind him and then Tortelli behind him.
Oh, look at Sellers right there. Jumps that whole whoop section, has enough of a lead to be able to go use the outside and get that good momentum. As soon as you got somebody close enough, you got to take the inside. The whole pace slows down.
One lap down. Let's take another look at the start right there in the congested first turn.
Well, Huffman had the whole shot. You see on the outside, he gets pushed wide. A couple of guys get collected right there, and then they all go down. It was a big jam up. Horton involved in that. Look at Huffman. A clear-cut hole shot. He couldn't hold it.
And Sellers comes out in first place. Here is our leader, Brock Sellers. He has certainly matured on this 250, and heck, he might not want to go back to the 125s.
I know. He can stay on the 250 the whole year. He crashed 3 times the second round in Anaheim through the whoop section and still ended up 12.
The battle for third is on. Sebastian Tortelli and Tyler Evans. Evans also a 125 East rider, gaining valuable experience on a 250 machine. Don't forget, you can see all these riders live on May 6th. Cable pay-per-view from Las Vegas for the first time in the history of Supercross. Check it out. There's Tyler Evans, number 45. Evans has really done well on the 250s. Everybody's overlooking him in the 125 East. These could be a couple of real dark horses. The final transfer spot now in the 5th position. Botter is in 5th. Grayson Goodman is in 6th. Sebastian Tortelli is number 21. Number 20, Damon Huffman. And that's Evans. That's 2nd, 3rd, and 4th here in the 2nd semifinal.
These guys' lap times are still pretty quick.
Yeah, Brock Sellers inside 1 minute with a 59-second fast lap.
Anything under a minute out here tonight is going to be a fast pace. Everyone's able to run about the same pace. McGrath talked about it earlier in the day. He said the track's a little bit easier this week. And the way the soil is starting to get broken down, especially in the whoop sections, which normally is pretty demanding. And everyone's running about the same lap time, so you got to be patient and just be able to chip away 1/4 of a second a lap at a time.
5 more riders will qualify for our main event from Phoenix, Arizona when we return.
So you're Greg Albertine?
Yeah, I'm Greg Albertine, national motocross champion, but you could call me Albie. Gio's ever see me do a jump? I can fly, babies, yeah! When I'm up there, I'm the man! So how about you two girls and Albie? Hey, look, it's Greg Albertine!
Another fantastic ride, Greg.
Thanks, Davey. Yeah, I felt really good out there. Thought clothing worked well and managed to get a hold of it.
Yeah, I'm Nathan Ramsey.
When I think about it now, the way he talked, the way he dressed, I found all of his stuff in a bag under his bed. It took control of him. He was my little boy. He's probably out there in the cold, getting high.
I have friends. Sometimes they come over to watch college hoops tonight. I think they want my knowledge. But they can't have my knowledge. It's my knowledge.
Number 18 is Brock Sellers. He is leading our 2nd semifinal round here at Bank One Ballpark.
This is got to be a pretty big thrill for the kid. I mean, he's got Damon Huffman back there, 125 Supercross champion a couple times, plenty of experience in the 250, and Sebastian Tortelli, world champion. Guy can go fast outdoors, and I'm pretty impressed with the way he's entered the season this year. 4th at the opener, 6th last week. And the guy's putting it together, and he's not getting the greatest starts in the main events. He's having to work for those.
Yeah, it was another learning year in Supercross after showing everyone that his world championship form in motocross was legit, because he was a points leader when he went down in Unadilla in the Nationals this last year. As we take a look at number 18, once again, our leader, Brock Sellers.
He's just solid right now. He's still got that same gap. If anything, it's widened slightly.
Of the 125 riders of the East Division running 250s here in the Western races, he has posted the best overall performance. 12th as we see the white flag, the final lap underway. A 12th in the first round, a 13th in the second round, and a 12th last week. He's in the money.
This last lap, you see the differentials right there. The top 4 riders all the way back to Tyler Evans, all coming in at under a minute. So these guys are getting things dialed in out there. Perhaps the track is starting to wear down slightly and the pace is quickening.
Damon Huffman has showed improvement now, steady improvement. After a 13th in the opening round, a 12th in the second round, and a 7th last week. This is his kind of track too, a little bit more.
Well, I think, you know, anytime it's not really tough, you've got to put the pressure on yourself to go out there and do a great job, because there's no excuses. But usually in the past, especially in the 125, Huffman has been so skilled at finding the really difficult sections, the way McGrath and Kevin Windham do in the 250s, and separating himself from the field. In the 250 class, you can't do that anymore. Everyone does the same things.
The checkered flag for Brock Sellers, just adding more confidence to his program before opening up in the 125 East Division. And of course, Brock flying the flag of FMF Honda. Well, there were a lot of big names mentioned. 2 defending champions in the 125 East, Fonseca and Nathan Ramsey, to meet each other. But this guy, you've got to look at. Here are the results. The 5 guys that are going to the main event: Sellers, Huffman, Tortelli, Evans, and Grayson Goodman, getting in his 3rd of the last 4 main events. Let's go down to Davey Combs.
Well, Brock, you just went out and beat 2 full factory riders who've won Supercrosses before. You're starting to look like you belong on a 250.
Yeah, I feel really good out there. The bike's working great, and I pretty much have just as good a motorcycle as anyone else out there, so it's just up to the rider to do his job, and luckily I got a good start and won the race.
I know that you got to switch over to the 125 East here in a couple weeks, but right now you got to feel like your confidence is going up with every race.
Yeah, I feel really great. Like this week I got on my 250, and it's just like I feel so comfortable on the bike, because I really didn't have much time to ride one before the first race, but fortunately I had a crash this week and smashed my arm, and I'm getting some serious arm pump out there, so hopefully I get off to a good start and can put in some, you know, laps before I get too tight.
Good job, Brock.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
David, he could be the 3rd 125 rider to win a 250 main if he doesn't look out.
It's possible, especially the way the track is tonight. A start really seems to matter. Everyone's running about the same pace, and he's got the fitness. I like this kid. He trains hard. He's got a great attitude. You can see he's having a wonderful time out there.
More EA Sports Supercross from Bank One Ballpark from Phoenix, Arizona, right after these important words.
With a Suzuki RM under you and Team Suzuki behind you, there will be absolutely nobody in front of you. Just ask Suzuki's Greg Albertine, 1999 AMA 250 Motocross National Champion.
Ponder this. What makes Chili's Awesome Blossom so awesome? It is chopped, battered, and the rest is top secret, because only Chili's has mastered the art of the onion.
There are 2 kinds of drivers in this world. Those who've had a flat tire, and those who will. That's why there's Fix-A-Flat. Spare yourself.
Love the athletes and stars here to celebrate. Hotel rooms are covered, the mini bar ain't. Greatest night in sports, gonna be a heck of a time.
celebrate the greatest athletes of the decade, live from the MGM Grand, February 14th at 8 p.m. on ESPN.
We're back at EA Sports Supercross round number 4 from Phoenix, Arizona. We've already seen some very exciting racing. For this week's rider profile, we turn to Team Suzuki's Greg Albertine. Born in Johannesburg, South Africa, 27-year-old Greg Albertine has never been satisfied with career achievements. He won the 125 World Motocross Championship in '92, then immediately sought a higher goal, the 250 World Crown. He won that in '93 and again in '94. Having beaten the best Europe could offer, he gave up his lofty position as world champion to test his skills in America, saying at the time, to be a real world champion, you have to beat the Americans. It would be 5 long years before Greg accomplished that task. 5 years filled with heartbreak and sprinkled with injury.
One of the biggest things was my expectations. I really did expect Supercross to be easier than it was. And coming over and expecting to win right off the bat was totally unrealistic.
What Greg did was crash at the opening round of the Supercross season. As a result of the injury, although he came back to finish 12th in Supercross and 10th in Motocross, '95 was a write-off year. Similar seasons followed.
For me, it was extremely tough. You know, there were times where I felt like saying, what am I doing? You know, I need to give this up, because emotionally it was pulling me down so much. And then I realized, you know, there's more to life than winning races. You know, I have a great wife. I have a great life. I mean, the Lord's blessed me extremely. And to think that if I'm not winning, it's going to be the be-all and end-all of everything. It's not, you know. And I had to make a lot of adjustments that way, think about things differently, put things in different perspective, and go, yes, this is my job. I need to win as much as I can, but if I'm not winning right now, it's not the end of the world.
Putting things in perspective seemed to agree with Greg. In 1999, despite a slow start, Albertine won his first American championship, the 250 Motocross Crown.
It's an incredible story, and you know, to come back after being as low as I was and to come back and win, it's a great feeling. You know, I've worked extremely hard, and to finally know that this is my year and I'm gonna do it and actually do it was a great feeling.
In addition to fame and riches that accompany championships, Suzuki rewarded Albie with a new 2-year contract with an option for year 3. That means if the easygoing South African does well over the next couple of years, he'll be able to shop the market in 2003. But then again, Greg has always put loyalty high on his list.
Well, if I raced for more than 2 years, I certainly would like to finish my career with Suzuki. It's been a 7-year-long career with them so far. It's been extremely fun, great guys to work with, great company in general, and I'm extremely happy. But I do realistically see myself racing for another 2 years. I can look back then and say I've given it a fair shot and given it everything I have had to win, and you know, that's probably a realistic goal.
When Greg's career is over in the United States, does he plan on returning to his native South Africa?
I definitely see myself staying in the U.S. You know, it's so close to South Africa, the way of life, and I've adapted extremely well. I have so many friends over here. My wife is American. I actually have a few business interests that I'm involved in. So I definitely see myself spending most of my time in the U.S. You know, I would like to have a home in South Africa to spend a little time there with my family, but this is really my home now.
Greg Albertine having a good qualifying round here in Phoenix tonight.
Well, it's been a kind of a struggle for him so far this year, Art. I mean, he's been in good position. Last week in San Diego, he was running 4th for a little while, went down, and it's got to be frustrating for him. I know it is. I've talked about him in the past, having a tough time staying on 2 wheels, and he seems to have found that place again where he was so dominant in the outdoor season. I thought, okay, maybe he's finally gotten past that, but you know, something to think about after that national series. Other than the U.S. Open in Vegas, he really hasn't raced much, and maybe it's just taken a while to get back in that flow.
Greg Albertine, it'll be interesting to see what he can do in tonight's main event from Phoenix, Arizona, as this terrific crowd awaits the main events of the 125s and the 250s coming up.
Hi
Hey, honey, welcome to the Suzuki Fest 2000 Daily. Care for a Suzuki motorcycle with $400 free accessories? How about the Intruder LC 1500 and a leather jacket? The Intruder 1400 or 800 go great with a helmet, and you can't miss with the Marauder or Savage 650. It's all good, even financing like zero down, low APR, and low payments on selected models.
Come into Suzuki Fest 2000 today. Free accessories, great financing. Offers end April 30th.
So, what'll it be?
Deep inside the Toyota Racing Development Facility, we work round the clock to give drivers every edge we can. In fact, here's our latest prize, right in here. A 600 horsepower Tundra Racing V8. Isn't she beautiful?
What will the credit card of the future look like?
The future?
Think of the possibilities.
The world's changing.
We'll need a card that can change with it.
What will a credit card look like that has an introductory rate of 0% and then a fixed rate as low as 9.99%?
Definitely not like anything in my wallet.
That has no annual fee and gives you the flexibility to pay over time.
So, I'll be able to extend the payments on my new lunar vacation?
What will a credit card look like that provides guaranteed protection from online fraud?
I don't know.
But I think it has my name on it.
A card with a built-in smart chip to give it ever-evolving capabilities.
A credit card?
With a brain?
That makes other credit cards seem so...
20th century.
Actually, it'll look like this. Introducing Blue from American Express, a whole new kind of credit card.
We really do live in an interesting time.
To apply, call 1-800-BLUE-600.
I have seen the future.
And it fits in my wallet.
ESPN's coverage of EA Sports Supercross, presented by Toyota Trucks, is being brought to you by Honda Motorcycles and the 2000 Honda Race Team. Honda, ride red. And by Dunlop Motorcycle Tires. Traction, control, power, speed. For everyone with the hunger. Dunlop superiority. Welcome back to Phoenix, Arizona, ladies and gentlemen, as we've seen some tremendous racing already, but we're looking forward to the 125 and 250 main events coming up next. The road to Las Vegas. You know, fans don't even have to sling their leg over a bike to help make Supercross history anymore, David Bailey.
All those people at home that win every week on the couch, well, now they can do it live. I'm really excited to see this. I mean, I'm actually thinking I might want to just call in sick so I can really check it out at home.
It's coming up on May 6th, the live cable pay-per-view. Check it out. The last race of the year from Las Vegas, you can see in your living room. Michael Craig and Kyle Lewis took the two top spots in the LCQ. They're the final two riders transferring to the 250 main event. The 125 Western Division gets ready on their practice lap. It's turned into a barn burner of a points race. Volan, 2 points. Up on last week's winner, Greg Schnell. Pingree, a round one winner, is only 3 out of first place. Smith idled by injury, and Shea Bentley round out our top 5. Our 125 winners, we've had 3 different winners on 3 different brands in the first 3 rounds, David Bailey.
That's how good this class has been, and you know, it was a little bit disappointing heading into the first round and seeing some of the injuries that were occurring in this West Division, but look what's turned out. It's just been incredible racing.
Davey Coombs is with our 125 points leader.
Down here on the starting gate with a guy that probably is the oldest guy out here, and probably the biggest surprise is the points lead already. Talon, is this what you expected?
Well, not really, no. My goal is just to get a top 3. I'm more of an outdoor rider, but I've been working really hard. My Chevy truck, split fire Kawasaki team's been doing an awesome job, and they're getting me up front, and I have a great mechanic. Everything's good, and if I can get a good start, I'll do it again tonight.
All right, good luck, Talon.
Thank you.
The sport's future superstars, the 125s, are coming up next from Phoenix, Arizona.
Don't file your 1999 taxes. Why? Because your W-2 is the key to your next car. Bring your W-2 to Jerry's Leesburg Suzuki, and in just 30 minutes, TaxMax will prepare your taxes and secure a refund advance that you can use towards a down payment on your next new or used vehicle. That's right. It's fast. It's easy. You can put yourself in a new or used car from Jerry's Leesburg Suzuki. So look for the TaxMax banner at Jerry's Leesburg Suzuki and drive home today.
Every 30 seconds, someone chooses Broyhill. Why?
I didn't have any friends until I got Fontana, and now they won't go home.
Casual? Now Fontana is casual.
We needed something just as relaxed as our family.
Fontana shows I've got style.
After all, you picked me.
Oh.
The Fontana bed, just $199 only at Belfort Furniture. Belfort, Washington's #1 Broyhill dealer.
This Sunday, ESPN Classic presents another real classic. Willie Mays stars in a picture show impossible to forget. A Man Named Mays.
This fella is the greatest baseball player of our time.
Now, our motion picture cameras will take you closer to the action than you ever dreamed you could go. It's real classics. It's A Man Named Mays. Sunday night at 9 on ESPN Classic. To get ESPN Classic, call 1-800-CLASSIC today.
Welcome back, everyone, as the tension starts to build. The 125s are at the gate ready to go.
This is where you're getting nervous. There's Casey Lytle down on the inside. He's been getting great starts all afternoon, but he went down the first corner. The whole trick is to try to get a great start, but be safe through that first corner. A whole shot going in doesn't necessarily mean you're going to stay in the lead coming out.
Checking out the grid sheet, David Pingree, who's won a race already. Talon Bolin, the points leader. A very fast Justin Buckaloo, Jason McCormick, Greg Schnell, also a winner. Eric Vallejo out of Mexico. Yuri Dostal, Travis Preston also has had some good rides. Billy Payne has led a 125 race so far this year. And Casey Lytle is trying to get back in the flow of things. That's just a few of the many riders that we've got at the gate. 22 in all for the 125 race.
See, they're really starting to favor that inside. Schnell, number 63, only a couple positions over from the far inside gate that Casey Lytle's sitting in. The inside's going to be critical in that first corner. Try to hold it tight.
The 125s go 15 laps. Later on, our 250s will be going 20 laps. Pingree revving it up. Number 35. He won the opening race of the season and has had a little bit of trouble getting by the first corner in the last two. It's sideways. The board is sideways. We're almost set to get things underway for round number 4. And another mess in that first turn, and coming out of it is number 34, Travis Preston. Travis Preston with a very good start to take the lead. But there's Pingree once again going down.
Well, he had the whole shot going into the corner, but he just got clobbered by everybody who came in there with all that momentum and couldn't stop. So the guys that were pretty close to the inside came out in good shape. Preston was the second gate over from the far inside, if I remember.
Take a good look at it, and we'll see what happened in that first turn as the 125s funnel into turn 1.
Well, Lytle got closed off right away, but it kind of turned out to be a blessing. There you see him way behind. Pingree all the way out front. And these guys just started going down right away. Buckaloo, the whole split fire team, they were all just going straight. They couldn't even try to make the corner. From the inside now, you can see Pingree way out. He's got the clear-cut hole shot. Leans in on everybody. One of the split fire guys high-siding. Schnell comes out in good shape. Looks like the hole shot award is going to go to Travis Preston.
A little ISO there on 35. Let's check it out. He gets into that corner on the inside.
It was Volin hit the back tire of Pingree. He needed to be leaned in a little bit more. He high-sided, and that started all the trouble.
And so our leader has turned out to be Travis Preston.
And there you see in the back of the pack, Volin just was in front of Pingree, landed on a tough block. Got all squirrely. Those guys just about went down again. So they're coming through the pack together, and they're the ones that are so close in the points. What they need to do now is just kind of keep tabs on Schnell.
And so Travis Preston is the winner of our YahooSports.com Hole Shot Award, number 34, and he's holding on to the lead very well. Travis Preston, his best in 99 last year, was a 4th at Minnesota, where he won the heat race to get into the main event. But he's looking for the checkered flag right now, if he can hold on for 13 more laps.
Probably like to see it here in just a couple laps, too. This is going to be a long race to have that pressure of being the guy out front. I can't remember Preston leading many 125 mains, and it definitely get your attention because you have nowhere to go but backwards.
Boy, and he's starting to stretch out the lead on Plano Honda's Yuri Dostal in second place.
It looks like maybe Schnell.
Schnell into the tough boxes. Oh, a bad break for a young man who was looking to challenge for a championship, and you can see the immense frustration in number 63's actions.
Looks like he may have had some problems with the front end of the motorcycle, and even if he can re-enter this race, it's going to be at such a slow pace, you can just forget about any points.
Well, he's a rider who's battled through injuries in the past, who experienced the glories of winning a Supercross, and now the frustrations of having to leave contention. Billy Payne in third place, Yuri Dostal in second. Here's Pingree trying to fight back up through the line.
Look at the mess. There's a bike down in the middle of that whoop section. Try and change your line in the whoop section. It doesn't happen.
Well, he moved up to 17th when Schnell went down, but he's trying to hound Robbie Horton now for 15.
And Pingree had an opportunity to get by a couple of drivers right there, but it would have been a big chance because Volan didn't jump that finish line double. Pingree might have been able to, but it would have been pretty risky.
Jason Thomas was able to leap by Volan, and now it's bar banging time for Pingree. Decides to follow Bowman right now. Bowman would like to get up and move up to pick up some points, but he doesn't. He's not the kind of rider that rides above his level at a time like this.
Well, I think what he realizes is Pingree's right there with him. That's who he's concerned about in the points. Schnell's also out of it, so the top three guys, they're out of contention right now. If Volan can just keep Pingree back there, he'll still be looking good in the points. He's looking at the big picture. He's been around racing long enough to know what to focus on.
Last week, a good, steady second-place ride, moving into that points lead. The highlight of his Supercross career, of course. Wins at Houston in 91, Tampa in 90, and the Anaheim second race win this year, in which he had that great back-and-forth finish with Danny Smith. Smith, since that time, has been injured and put out of action. Volan tries to cut to the inside on Terlecki. He is successful in moving up another notch, and Pingree's assignment now is to get by Terlecki, our young rider out of the Northwest. Here's Volan. Good block pass. Nice move on Jason Thomas as we go back to our leader right now.
He's still got a comfortable margin, Art. You can see the gap. He can afford to go to the outside when he needs to and keep that momentum while the guys behind him. It's really starting to become a race. Billy Payne's getting some pressure from Lytle back there in the battle for third.
Our leader, number 34, his most impressive performance to date. From a bad start, 13th place start, he ended up in 5th last week in San Diego. Well, needless to say, he's out to best it right now. Our 125 main event continues, and we'll have more action of the EA Sports Supercross right after this.
Now, get the biggest enlistment bonus the Army has ever offered, as much as $20,000. Plus up to $50,000 to pay for college. For your future, for your country's future. Call today, 1-800-USA-ARMY.
Applicants wanted. High-tech jobs. Window offices. No experience necessary.
Last year, it struck 5 countries and 50 cities worldwide. Over 1 million people on 3 continents experienced its power. Those who survived never forget.
Don't you just love days like this? Vans, racing since '66.
Well, considering the popularity of the swimsuit issues, the Sports Center swimsuit calendar seemed like an idea whose time had come. Sex sells.
Show me the sex. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
I don't want lotion. Get away.
Very sexy. Oh, yeah. Megan, give me the snakes, would you?
Snakes?
No, you're going to look sexy. It's going to look great. You've got to be kidding me.
We know what people like.
Yeah. Gorgeous.
He's riding the 125 race of his career. Number 34, Travis Preston is our leader here with the 125s with 9 laps to go in our main event from Phoenix, Arizona. If he wins, he will be the 4th different rider to win in 4 rounds. I don't think that's ever happened in the 125 West.
He's still got a comfortable lead. You can see there's the battle for second. Lytle putting the pressure on Dostal, and you got the split fire teammates back there. Billy Payne and Shea Bentley also right there on his tail.
Good shot as they jump through space on that angle. Nice ride for Dostal, number 717 of the Plano Honda team. And Lytle is right behind him looking for a mistake, looking to make a move.
Each
Lytle,
lap.
frustrating season, David.
He makes the move, though, right there. Little block pass, and what kind of set that up was the way these guys are running through that whoop section. There's a rider down. They can't get it moved off the racetrack. These guys are having to sort of ride through there kind of fast. It's a really weird situation, and Lytle just took advantage of it. Now look at 104, Art. He's really putting on the pressure.
Yes. Bentley making his first podium last week in San Diego in a 3rd place finish. He's trying to move up the ranks. He moved into the top 5 in points with that 3rd place. Number 104 after that horrible start, getting mixed up into the melee.
He's recovered nice. This kid is so full of confidence in his training, in his riding ability, and that 3rd last week was just what he really needed to get the ball rolling. And now he just put a block pass in that corner, as a matter of fact, a lap ago on his teammate Billy Payne. Mitch Payton had to chew off a couple fingernails because they both almost went down, but it's paid off. He was the faster of the two. He needs to get up there and try to get a win.
All last season he was out of action with an injury. As we switch back to number 711, our points leader coming into the race, Talon Volan.
That was close. He just bumped the back wheel there.
Ooh,
just about high-sided.
Travis Preston, our leader. Casey Lytle in 2nd.
Well, what's interesting about Volan right now is he's gotten aggressive. He's recovered well, and he's starting to put some riders between himself and Pingree. That's just going to help him even more in the points.
He's taking on Rusty Holland right now. And look at that. Volan and Rusty Holland go down. Holland went right in. Volan gets hit by a rider coming by. Talon Volan. Memories of Unadilla when he went down and got hit several times by bikes coming right after him.
He's a little bit disoriented. You could tell it looked like somebody spun him around in circles. He can't even pick the bike up. His equilibrium isn't even there right now.
Somebody got a knockout punch as he went right by him.
Look at his head. He took a little blow there because his visor's pointing straight down.
Another shot at 7-Eleven, and watch in his battle.
Well, that was a good idea. Oh yeah, you can see he just got clobbered by the motorcycle as it came down.
And watch it a little later.
No, this was a good idea. He's going in there for a nice block pass. And watch the bikes hook up to each other, and it just stops them dead. And they both had the bikes landing on top of him. Pingree sneaks by, and now he knows, well, this could give me the points lead.
DeMarini, Suzuki, Rusty Holland also involved in it. But Talon Volan, another frustrated points leader, as we've seen twice in this race. Guys in contention for the championship go down. There's our leader once again, and he's having a great time of it, Travis Preston.
He's just consistent 101 every lap. The only guy back there that's running that pace, well, 2 guys actually. It's 2nd place Lytle and Shea Bentley. They're all turning 101s, but as long as they are, they're never going to catch him. They got to dip down under a minute if they're thinking about trying to win this race, because Preston has been solid the whole way.
Travis Preston representing the very young DeMarini Suzuki team, and this could be their first victory ever in 125 action. Eddie Staub wrenches for Travis Preston. He's probably holding his breath about now.
That first win, everyone's holding their breath. Everyone involved, especially Travis right now.
There you see a 3.2 second lead on Casey Lytle. Casey Lytle putting in his best run of the young 125 West season.
He lost just a little bit of time that last lap, I mean, and Shea Bentley, I think, is the cause. Shea is putting the pressure on Lytle in 2nd. There you can see the gap is shortened. It's gotten close.
It's close, down now to 2.9 seconds. Can Travis Preston hold on to 1st? Will Casey Lytle, for that matter of fact, hold on to 2nd? We'll find out when we return to Phoenix, Arizona.
Rated E for everyone. Super. Cross 101. Oops. Whoops. Superman. Superman. Medic. This power band poppin' on the pipe handlebar to handlebar lesson has been brought to you by Supercross 2000 and the letters EA Sports. It's in a game.
How could we make the chalupa even better?
You could put nacho cheese sauce on it.
Introducing the Nacho Cheese Chalupa, loaded with our warm, zesty nacho cheese sauce. How do we come up with this stuff? Now just 99 cents. Only at Taco Bell.
ESPN and ESPN2 are live from Daytona for Speed Weeks. From practice and qualifying to live coverage of Speed Weeks big races and events, we've got more than 50 hours of racing news and highlights. Tune into Speed Weeks on ESPN and ESPN2.
We could possibly have our fourth 125 West winner in 4 rounds. Number 34 is Travis Preston. He's run a near-perfect race, David, out front.
Well, he absolutely has done everything he can do correct. All the lines have come together. He's been smooth, but the pace right now, I have a feeling, is it needs to be picked up slightly, or else he's going to have a real battle on his hands. So Shea Bentley is going faster than both these guys, and that's really closed it up.
And number 30, Casey Lytle, is trying to close up on the winner. Number 30, after bad starts in the opening 2 races, got a good start and led the race for 6 laps before a mechanical in San Diego sent him back to the school of hard knocks. We've got 3 laps to go. They've cut down the interval.
Yeah, we can get them all in the same shot here in another half a lap or so.
1.3 seconds. The interval from first to second.
You'll notice whenever you pan back, you see Shea Bentley is able to take different lines, different timing here and there. So he's got ideas.
Casey Lytle coming up on the rear tire of Travis Preston. Can he hold on? We'll still have 4 different winners in 4 rounds if Lytle takes it. And if Shea Bentley should wander through with the checkered flag.
I think it's safe to say we got 4 different winners in the first 4 rounds locked up.
They're so close together, though, anything can happen right now. You saw what happened to Volan just a little bit earlier when he tangled with Rusty Holland.
Now here's where riders earlier in the day were talking about the track as one line. We're going to find out right now, because all these guys want to win. It would be huge for all of them. With Pingree sitting back in 9th place, where they can
cutting to the inside, Casey Lytle battling for the lead, takes it away from Travis Preston for the first time in this race. Now Casey Lytle had trouble holding on to leads last year. Can he hold off now?
Shea Bentley.
And Shea Bentley.
I have a feeling Shea Bentley might be the one that he's got to be worried about. Travis has been out there all this time. His pace has slowed slightly. He could be tired. He could be nervous. He's never had this much pressure before. And Lytle and Shea Bentley are the ones coming from behind. They've got nothing to lose.
Let's check out how number 30 pulled the string and took the lead away from Travis Preston.
Gets into the corner of the nice wide line. He's able to do a nice arc. Gets right back, squares him off. That's what we call it. Outside, inside.
With 2 laps to go, could Preston be tiring?
It's hard to tell. You know, I mean, the lap times are still real close, but the track is getting a little bit worse, and he's had the pressure all this time. It might have finally gotten to him.
Still, he improves his performance over last week. Here comes Shea Bentley. Bentley and Preston bar to bar for a couple of seconds. Bentley's got the inside move and gets the clean pass. And Bentley could very well catch number 30 with 1 lap to go.
I have a feeling Lytle knows that. He's trying to get as much of a gap as he can get. So he didn't have to start riding defensive. This track, it's almost better in some spots to be in 2nd place.
And there's got to be the nervous time. Number 30 acknowledging to the crowd. But his mechanic Dennis Petreka wasn't too sure about things. He was holding his breath. Right behind him is Shea Bentley. Here is number 30 on his way to the checkers for his very first 125 Supercross win, Casey Lytle. The first Honda to win in 125s so far in the year 2000. And once again, we repeat, the 4th different rider in 4 rounds to win in the 125 Western Division. That hasn't happened since Gaddis, Huffman, Pashone, and another rider that I can't remember offhand back in 1993.
I wish I could help you out. I'm thinking about these top 3 guys. Even though they'd all like to have won it, now you can see that Lytle's beaming. It's 1 position better for Shea Bentley from last week, so he makes his best performance, and Preston's got to be stoked, leading that much of the main event, being on the podium.
Boy, a long time coming for this young man. He is no longer a bridesmaid. As you see here, Casey Lytle, after something like 5 second places last year, captures his first 125 victory. Bentley moves into 2nd place on Travis Preston. Billy Payne and Yuri Dostal rounding out the top 5. Let's check things out now with Davey Coombs.
Oh man, I'm down here with the happiest guy in Phoenix, Arizona, Casey. I know that you've been waiting a long time for that one.
Yeah, it's been a long road to get my first win. I've been so close so many times. I don't even know what to say. I mean, I can't even describe the feeling of being so close and then just finally getting it. I mean, it's been a long road. I'd like to thank FMF Honda, my mechanic Dennis Petraka, Thor, Alpine Star, Twisted, just everybody helping me out. It's been great. Skin, videos, N-style graphics and numbers. It's great.
I know that last week in San Diego, it looked like you were going to get it. You're out front, and then, man, you had that heartbreak when the bike broke, but, man, you put it behind you, and you came out here firing.
You know what? After last week, you know, it like boosted my confidence beyond belief. You know, I knew I could do it. I was out there gone. I knew what it felt like to do it. And, man, I just came here knowing I can win.
Well, congratulations, Casey.
All right, thank you very much.
Casey Lytle with the right to have that big smile, winning his very first 125 Supercross victories. We take a look at the 125 points. Pinkley back on top. Schnell 8 back. Volan 9 back. Casey Lytle, victors here tonight. Right now, the 250 bikes are getting ready. The big bikes for the big bucks. This is the first of the Vans Triple Crown here in Phoenix, Arizona. If one rider wins Phoenix, Minneapolis, and Las Vegas, he can pocket $500,000. If one rider doesn't win all 3, one with the most points takes home $25,000 as a consolation prize. Jeremy McGrath with 2 wins already on the season, at the gate ready to go when we return.
I've been racing since I was 3. I'm a pilot. I like to fly a little bit.
No matter what, we want a Honda up front.
I just feel like I'm on the right team and on the right place.
Je m'appelle Sébastien Tortelli. Je cours pour le team Honda. I guess you could say I was just a little bit hairier than the other kids. They said I was hairy like a bear, and then it was Yogi Bear, and now it's just Yogi.
Try not to think about who's behind you. You know, you try to always race in front of you.
You feel like you can be free.
This is what exhilaration looks like. With Helly Hansen, you can experience exhilaration without worrying about the elements.
This is so wrong. This was supposed to be the prime of my life, not the end of my life. I should have taken more chances. With her, my broker, he took chances with my money. If only life came with a roadmap.
It does. Introducing MyPrimetime.com. Creative tips, tools, and technology to get the most out of life.
Boy, I wish I had another chance.
Whoa. MyPrimetime.com. Your personal trainer for life.
The sellout crowd has been waiting for this, the 250 main event from Bank One Ballpark in Phoenix, Arizona. As we take a look at the starting lineup, Jeremy McGrath got the first gate pick. Ricky Carmichael, also a heat winner. Kevin Windham, David Villeman, contenders with the top 4 gate selections. Timmy Ferry, Larry Ward, Greg Albertine, Stefan Roncott, and Brock Sellards, 2 125 East riders making the 250 main event. Dowd, Huffman, Waugh, Tortelli, Kelly Smith, Evans, and then getting the 16th pick at the gate. He's second in points. is Mike LaRocco. Jeremy McGrath leads Mike LaRocco by only 4 points in the championship points race. Villeman, after his win last week, is only 5 points off the pace, with Wyndham and Tortelli rounding out the top 5. So David Bailey, an interesting situation here as far as the points race is concerned. They start lining up in the gate after the parade lap. Jeremy McGrath about 4 gates off the doghouse.
You know, that surprises me a little bit. He's the inside is really getting favored. All the guys that I believe have a possibility to beat Jeremy are to the inside of him. You saw what happened in that 125 main event. Everybody gets pushed wide. Jeremy's obviously got a lot of confidence that he can get out, beat those guys off the line, get an elbow in front, move over, and take the best line.
A year ago, this was the point situation after 3 races. Jeremy McGrath was 61 points. LaRocco was only 1 point back. Villeman was 28 points back. Today, the point standings after 3 races. Jeremy's got a little bit more, 68 points. LaRocco's hanging in there with him, but Villeman is the big difference. 23 points better than last season. And then we've got the 1999 average finish with Jeremy McGrath, his average finish of 2.1 to LaRocco's 5.4. But after first 3 rounds, LaRocco is averaging a 2.3 average. Can The Rock keep such pressure on the 6-time champion the rest of the way? Couldn't do it last year, David Bailey, but he's going to try to do it this year.
Well, there he is on the starting line. In between Tyler Evans and Grayson Goodman. He's way to the outside. He's got the 15 riders had a pick to the gate. They took all the good spots. He had to just go wide. He wouldn't go there if he had his choice.
Kevin Wyndham right next to Jeremy McGrath, right to McGrath's right.
Well, Jeremy had the fastest heat, and he won his heat, so he got first pick to the starting line. Wherever he goes, you can bet Kevin's just going to line up just to the inside of him, and if he can get off even with him or even close, all he's got to do is just nose his way in there and force Jeremy out into those tough blocks. LaRocco, on the other hand, is way wide. I think his shoulder's still bothering him, so right off the bat, he's got 2 strikes against him. But it's possible, Art, that there could be a huge pileup in the first corner. And with him not getting a great start and being in the middle of it, he could weed his way through and come out in good shape. It's really a big question mark, that first corner here.
Paul Delaurier's mechanic has now left him, and the tension starts to build. The 32nd board is up. Brock Sellards, number 18, Jeremy McGrath, and then Kevin Wyndham in a group of 3 Hondas. As more than 50,000 fans see the cart go sideways, and we're set to go for the 250 main, round 4. Is Ricky Carmichael. He comes across the line first. Ricky Carmichael and Tim Ferry, number 15, along with Larry Ward, number 10. Kevin Wyndham is now in 4th with Jeremy McGrath in 5th, moving into 4th right now.
The Kawasaki's have been getting off the line amazing lately, but their teammate back there, John Dowd, got collected with Grayson Goodman. They were the only 2 riders that suffered any problem in the first corner. Everyone else surprised me. I think they were all a little bit careful after what happened in the 125 main.
Ricky Carmichael in his first 250 main here in the Phoenix area has the whole shot and the lead. Tim Ferry, Jeremy McGrath's teammate, in 2nd place, with Kevin Wyndham getting quite a battle from Larry Ward and Jeremy McGrath. Take another look at the start.
Well, this was exactly the start Carmichael was hoping for. He's got Tim Ferry back there behind him, McGrath's teammate. It was green all the way. They were down to the inside. There's the start of LaRocco. He gets out pretty good. He doesn't get pinched off like normal, but he was forced wide. Just about went down. Boy, what a job he did to stay upright. And there you see John Dowd getting collected.
Yeah, Dowd did go down. As we go back to our leader, Ricky Carmichael. Can he hold on to the lead this time? Last week, he finished in 10th after a 7th place start.
Well, I'll tell you what, Art, it makes a big difference who's behind you. It always mattered to me. I don't know if these guys think about it, but if that was number 1 behind Carmichael, he'd be nervous. Right now, he's got number 15. Not that Tim Ferry isn't a threat, but it's not nearly the threat of this guy right here.
Closing in on 18 laps to go as the 6-time Supercross champion and defending champ, number 1, Jeremy McGrath, tries to pick up the action. He's got Kevin Wyndham in front of him, and his teammate Tim Ferry in 2nd. Before getting to Ricky Carmichael.
I have a feeling we're going to see some contact before this race is over, because that's the only way to get around. Jeremy is programmed to win races, and he is not where he wants to be.
Look at that, the great box in, and what a slide by Tim Ferry.
Contact. You got to get in there and take the line, get aggressive and bump and not feel bad about it. Or you're going to get left behind.
We've been mentioning how good Tim Ferry's been riding lately, David Bailey, as we take another look at the pass number 15 on 4.
Just comes into the inside. Ricky left the door a little bit too far open. He actually didn't even have to make contact. Good reaction as well. Good reflexes by Ricky to not suffer a mistake and lose another position as Wyndham and McGrath are right there to take advantage of it.
So the top privateer of 1999 last year has taken our lead as we see the battle underway for third. Jeremy McGrath tries to cut to the inside, but good power out of the number 14 Honda.
I think Jeremy right now is just trying to be smart. As long as he stays with these guys and stays out of trouble, they're pulling away from the riders behind him. Sometimes you can make a move on guys and they have time to respond. I think he's just being patient and smart right here. He knows these guys aren't in the fitness, can't go the pace he does. They've never proved it anyway, not this year.
With Filament in 6th and LaRocco in 11th. The two contenders up there with Jeremy McGrath in the points race. He can afford to have patience.
Well, this is the kind of race you love to see. You got all the good guys right out front, and then somebody that's never won a Supercross, and McGrath's teammate Ferry leading it. What a thrill for him and for Chaparral.
Wyndham's got to look forward to RC. He's got to keep the speed up against Jeremy McGrath. Tim Ferry doing a 58-second lap.
And these guys, the first, Jeremy has always said, the beginning of the main event are going to be the fastest laps of the night, especially if he's out front with a clean track. Right now, he's got to sort of follow the pace of these guys, study it, and hope they get tired and make mistakes. That's what they've done in the past, and he's able to ride right by.
Carmichael about 1.9 seconds behind. Kevin Wyndham 2.9 seconds behind the leader. And Jeremy McGrath has 3.5 to catch up. With 16 laps to go in our main event. Well, it looks like it could be a good showdown here. And Jeremy McGrath comes side by Wyndham, but Wyndham stays on 2 wheels.
That was just a test. McGrath just got in there and made a little test on it. Ferry's starting to pull away. That's just amazing.
Tim Ferry, number 15.
Well, behind him, the crowd roars because McGrath just put a physical pass on Kevin Wyndham.
And look at that. Greg Albertine is right behind Wyndham. So Ricky Carmichael in 2nd place. Jeremy McGrath has now moved into 3rd. And McGrath now has his sights on RC.
I'll tell you what, I don't think that McGrath was patient anymore. He realized that the time was now. Albertine was starting to catch up from behind, and the leader's starting to get away. McGrath has an incredible sense of knowing when to make his moves, and he just decided now's the time. Watch this. Comes to the inside of Kevin.
Gets good power out of that corner.
Kevin still gets it. Jeremy goes right back to the inside again. This doesn't give him any chance to come back.
A smart move by Jeremy McGrath puts him in the top 3. But our leader is Tim Ferry, his teammate. We'll be right back in a moment.
Adelphia puts premium entertainment right in your living room with 4 great channels. This month on HBO, Nicolas Cage uncovers a twisted mystery. 8mm. On Cinemax, Bruce Willis fights for control. The Siege. On Showtime, Harrington High's under an alien attack. The Faculty. And on the Movie Channel, it's adventure for the whole family. The Rugrats movie. With these great hits and more, you'll find what you're looking for on Adelphia. Call now to find out about our special offers.
Within these woods, nature weaves its tapestries. Within our homes, we weave our own. Introducing Continental Tapestry by Broyhill. Lets you get away right at home.
Continental Tapestry, only at Belfort Furniture, Washington's #1 Broyhill dealer.
Joe Sakic and the Avalanche face Steve Yzerman and the Red Wings. They don't need to stir things up, for the past is not the past, and all is not forgotten. Red Wings, Avalanche, Sunday at 8 Eastern, only on ESPN. This is the game.
Love the athletes and stars to celebrate.
celebrate the greatest athletes of the decade, live from the MGM Grand, February 14th at 8 p.m. on ESPN.
We've got some great EA Sports Supercross action from Banquet Ballpark in Phoenix, Arizona. Ricky Carmichael in second place is trying to hold off the smart and 6-time defending champion Jeremy McGrath. Tim Ferry, still our leader, and has a 2.7-second lead on Ricky Carmichael. Take a look at 14 as well. Kevin Windham coming up in behind Jeremy McGrath. He doesn't want to let McGrath go.
No, he's got to try to stay right with him. And he's done that so far. That's really been his goal. Just try to stay with the guy. You know, maybe wear him down for a change. No one ever does anything to Jeremy. He's always able to get away. If Kevin can stay with him, he's got a chance. Watch this. McGrath is close enough to mess with RC.
McGrath takes that same inside corner, but McGrath has the advantage. I should say RC, but here is a beautiful move by McGrath. The same combination, really.
It's just pressure. All that pressure in the presence of Jeremy being in the right place at the right time forced Carmichael into a slight mistake, just a tiny one, and Jeremy was close enough to make the pass.
You see McGrath now picking up a little bit on the leader.
This is one time where I'll bet you McGrath isn't minding too much to be in second. He's got his teammate out there, and I'll bet you anything he's grinning in that helmet. He's happy for Tim right now because he knows he's got the talent to go out there and lead races.
Here's Villeman working on Windham. David Villeman moves into 4th place, and he could be challenging up there soon. We still have 13 laps to go.
I'm starting to see that same sort of riding style and posture and energy from Kevin Windham that I saw in Anaheim, where he has the speed, but you're not looking at it. You're seeing something a little bit less. Right now he's getting passed by Villeman. It looks like Albie could be next.
Yep, on the podium 2 of his first 3 races. Felt he didn't ride that well in the opener and took 3rd, and then had problems in the 2nd round, ending up in 8th place. Now he's having trouble holding on to David Villeman, who's very smooth riding in 4th.
The problem with Kevin, I don't know if it's a fitness thing. I mean, I look at the guy, and he looks fit, and he's strong. You know, I know he rides a lot. His mechanic says he goes out and he does 25-lap motos at the Honda test track, and his heart rate's low. But there's a difference between being able to go fast during the week and going fast in these conditions when it really matters and the pressure's on. And I think mentally he's just not able to get his potential and ride relaxed.
Ricky Carmichael is going to have a hard time now keeping number 934 David Villeman off his back. You see McGrath has already moved into 2nd place. Ricky Carmichael in 3rd, but there's 934 David Villeman, who senses a chance to move into 2nd in the points race.
Beautiful line right there. Gets into that corner, just chops it off early, chops off about 10 feet of racetrack and stays out of that rut that fouled up Ricky Carmichael's time.
Ferry's lead on Jeremy McGrath now shrinking to 1.6 seconds as we take a look at the 3rd place rider. 11 laps to go in our 250 main event from Phoenix, Arizona. Packed house here.
Ricky looking back after he came out of that corner. That's all never a good sign. I think he's a little concerned. He knows Villeman's coming.
Jeremy McGrath closing on his teammate Tim Ferry. Tim Ferry has never won a 250 main event.
You just might never, as long as that number 1's back there.
There was a matchup this summer in one race in which Jeremy McGrath kind of took things for granted. Fell on the last lap, but Tim Ferry won it.
Yeah, I forgot all about that. So Tim has beaten Jeremy.
Not as much on the line, though, this time around, as this is the first of that Vans Triple Crown.
Jeremy's not taking this one lightly.
Here comes Jeremy. Starts to make his move on number 15. It'll be a clean one. Oh, Jeremy almost went down. Trying to cut to the inside. Anything can happen in this race.
I'll tell you exactly what that was. That was, okay, this is my teammate, so I don't want to get real close to him, so I'll try to cut this a little tighter and keep some distance between us. And front end washed out a little bit. He found a piece of racetrack that had a little rut in it he didn't expect.
Yeah. Take another look and check out McGrath number 1.
Had a feeling Tim might just kind of go wide here and say, go ahead. I don't need this kind of pressure. Watch Jeremy. Whoa. Trying to hold it tight and give him some room.
Tim hit perfectly the rut he was trying to hit coming out of that turn, so that was a planned move by Tim Ferry all the way. And Jeremy McGrath now spits the roost up.
Oh, these guys are having fun.
Coming over the finish line. 9 laps to go in the race. The crowd comes alive, but Jeremy McGrath now has the edge and takes over the lead.
Well, it doesn't surprise me from Jeremy. He earned this. He had to pass all the best guys to get to this place. And for Tim Ferry, I'm sure it's a little bit of a disappointment to lose the lead, but no one else can beat this guy. How the heck is he supposed to? He's beating everybody else.
Just as hot here for 3rd place. Ricky Carmichael trying to fend off David Villeman.
I think Ricky would like to get things rolling here even more with a podium, but he's going to have to fight for his life.
Villeman tries to the inside, shows a wheel. Here they go, bar to bar. David Villeman has Carmichael looking over at him, and Villeman moves into 3rd place. Now, is there any question that David Villeman of Team Yamaha is going to put a challenge on Tim Ferry of Chaparral Yamaha?
Well, what Yamaha's looking at right now is a sweep. They're all going to be standing on a podium. These guys have got things figured out.
Not only a sweep, but this will be the 4th straight round in 4 rounds that Yamaha has been on the top step. So as Jeremy McGrath of Mazda Chaparral Yamaha leads his teammate Tim Ferry, and Team Yamaha's David Villeman will return in a moment.
When Suzuki introduced the original 4-stroke DR 350 and dual sport 350, it rocked motorcycling. Now, it's happening all over again. Introducing the all-new DRZ 400 and DRZ 400S from Suzuki. 4-stroke thunder. On-road or off.
Want to color your gray hair and get a natural look? It's easy with Just for Men.
You look so natural, no one can tell with Just for Men. No one can tell with Just for Men.
Simply shampoo in Just for Men, and in 5 minutes, rinse. Just for Men blends away gray. The gray is gone, matched up to the rest of your hair.
You look so natural, no one can tell with Just for Men.
Hoops is staying in for Super Saturday.
It's a bird. It's a plane.
It's Super Saturday, baby. First up, Slam and Shane Battier and the Blue Devils take on the Ramblin' Wreck. Then, Anthony Grundy and the Pack tear it up against the Cavaliers. And later, it's a Big Ten Rumble when Charlie Bell and the Spartans battle the Relentless Badgers. Duke, Georgia Tech at 4 on ESPN2. Then on ESPN, NC State, Virginia at 7, Michigan State, Wisconsin at 9. Tomorrow.
Welcome back to Phoenix, Arizona, our 250 main event with 8 laps to go. Sebastian Tortelli made a move on Mike LaRocco. And that's Kevin Windham. Mike LaRocco, number 5. Sebastian Tortelli, number 21. Tortelli passing Windham, trying to get in front of Mike LaRocco. So it's the battle for 6th, 7th, and 8th with the red bikes.
I have a feeling that LaRocco's shoulder's bothering a little bit. In the beginning of the race, it's hard to get your body temperature warmed up. Now it is, and I'll bet you that what's on his mind has nothing to do with that sore shoulder. That's probably all loose. He'll be sore tomorrow, but right now he's just trying to salvage points because with McGrath out front, he's starting to inch away. That's exactly what LaRocco's trying to avoid.
58-second lap for our leader, Jeremy McGrath. You know who leads the most laps coming into this race?
Let's see, Villeman?
You're right, David Villeman, because he had the 20 laps, winning San Diego, and he also led another race.
That was a guess. I had a feeling it was McGrath, but since you asked me that way, I thought it was something else.
I was trying to catch you, partner. Trying to catch you. As Tim Ferry now has his hands full with David Villeman. David Villeman wants to stay up near McGrath in that points race, and he can do it if he can take over 2nd place. Here's the move made on number 15. Tim Ferry going to try to hold on for that final podium spot.
I'll tell you what, Art, the way Villeman's riding, the way he looked to me in practice, he is not finished with 2nd place here. He is still looking at Jeremy. He's not that far behind. I'm sure Jeremy's got other ideas, but he really hasn't been able to pull away like he's been so famous for doing in the past.
Well, Villeman has one thing on Jean-Michel Bayle. He's the earliest, that's the earliest a Frenchman has won a 250 main in his first full season of 250 action, which Villeman completed in San Diego. Here's the 5th place rider, Greg Albertine. Behind him is Mike LaRocco. LaRocco playing with pain.
Nice move right down the inside. These guys are going to kind of a slow race into the corner to get that position established. I can see Mike LaRocco's wife from where I'm sitting, and his son, and she's looking a little nervous. She'd like to see her husband up there a little closer and not losing the points, but he's made a good recovery from what happened to him earlier in the day and from where he had to start. So is Albertine, for that matter. He's been struggling a little bit, and he's got it together here.
Mike LaRocco wants to stay up in that points contention right now. As we go back to our leader, Jeremy McGrath, with 5 laps to go. McGrath.
Well, look how chewed up the track's getting now. Now this is a time where you really got to pick lines well. That's what Villeman is so skilled at.
Villeman out of the corner too, into the whoops.
Villeman can sense a line. We already saw him cutting the finish line corner short to try to stay out of that rut.
Well, both riders have a fast lap in this race of 58 seconds. Villeman will have to try to step it up, as you know Jeremy McGrath will.
Look at that. It looks to me like Villeman has actually closed the gap a little bit. Great time. He puts the bike exactly where he wants to put it. And the reason why he's so much fun to watch is because he uses his body so much more than the other guys. When McGrath puts the bike where he wants it, it's a little bit more subtle. You don't notice it. When Villeman does it, he's all over the place. I called him Spider-Man at Anaheim. I can't think of another praying mantis. I don't know. The guy just does whatever he's got to do with his body to make that bike stick where he wants it, and he's closed the gap even more.
Does he have time with 4 laps to go against the great Jeremy McGrath? That's what we really have to see now, as the fans anxiously pointing and waiting and cheering. Such beautiful style.
Hey, David, let me help you out with what they call Villeman over in France. He's known as the Cobra. He actually has it on the back of his pants, not a pair he's wearing right now. He's the Cobra. That's your animal.
About ready to strike right now. He's even closer to Jeremy, and the fans here can really sense it now.
Would that be something for the first time this season, somebody chasing down Jeremy McGrath?
Well, the Paris Supercross, Villeman won the whole honors because Jeremy had one bad week. Or one bad night, rather. There's the Chaparral owner, Dave Dameron. But I think Villeman understood, look, I wasn't the best guy here. I simply was more consistent. McGrath is better. Right now, he's proving he's a little bit faster.
Well, that was a classy move over at Bercy. There's no question about that. And after the FIM Supercross Championship, giving McGrath his due. But right now, it's wide open.
See, Villeman's got different lines. He's staying out of that main groove that's gotten so chewed up. He's got other little things he's able to do. If he was going fast in the same line as Jeremy, I'd say, well, how the heck is he going to pass him? But he's doing things differently. His mechanic telling him, be smart. Don't throw it away. Don't crash trying to go for too much and drop back to 4th.
Jeremy McGrath would get a 3-point advantage more on Villeman in the points race if he can hold this position. Villeman, though, trying to get close enough to make a clean move.
And this is the kind of race where it's not like the end of the season and Jeremy's got a 30-point lead on everybody. He can afford to get a second. He needs to win this race. I know he wants to win it. He's not letting Villeman get in there and get close like this.
Half a second behind David Villeman with less than 2 laps to go. Villeman now within striking distance, the Cobra. Here comes the Cobra. David Villeman brings the crowd to their feet. They can't believe what they're seeing right now. Villeman makes the pass on Jeremy McGrath. Oh, what a move. David Villeman establishing the lead. Jeremy's foot coming off the peg, coming through the whoops. They go by the mechanics area now.
There's a different line I was talking about that he put to use. White flag.
Last lap. Can Jeremy come back on David Villeman? Taking another look at the pass. David Villeman making a very clean move of it.
Goes wide, squares it. Jeremy's fussing with that rut right there, trying to miss it. Villeman just squares him, gets a beautiful drive out of the corner, takes over the lead. This isn't over yet.
David Villeman trying to make it 2 wins in a row. San Diego and Phoenix. Can he hold off the great champion, the greatest Supercross rider of all time, Jeremy McGrath? And he's already gotten a little lead on him.
Yeah, Villeman has just got this place wired. I don't know if Jeremy has anything else.
led 20 laps in the last round.
That's the corner where he made the pass on Jeremy. Jeremy just struggled through there again, lost even more time. So there goes his final turn opportunity.
In the final lap, Team Yamaha has seen number 934 develop in a winner. The checkers for David Villeman. And he wins the first round of the Vans Triple Crown. He wins in Minneapolis and Las Vegas. It could mean $500,000 to number 934. 4 wins in a row for a Yamaha. LaRocco comes in fourth as Villeman looks around. Is he a happy Frenchman right now? They never before won 3 straight to start a season, but Yamaha has certainly put on a great show here. And look at David Villeman. Taking a look at the official results now. Villeman in first, coming from behind to chase down McGrath and take the victory. Ricky Carmichael his best finish in 250s. And Mike LaRocco coming back for a fourth, gaining some points back after a very, very tough day. You see Greg Albertine in sixth, one of his best finishes this year. So David Villeman has proved here in Phoenix, Arizona that he's for real. His dream was to race 250s in America. His goal was to win like his idol Jean-Michel Bayle. We'll be right back to hear from him.
Tacoma 4x4. There's no bigger rush.
Domino's new Italian Originals Pizza Trio.
Tender prosciutto.
Italian sausage, spicy pepperoni. 3 authentic Italian meats, only $10.99.
Golf Digest presents 50 ways to lower your score.
To get greater distance, turn your right foot out. For a better backswing, don't slide. Turn your hips instead.
Now, lower your score, drive longer, hit straighter, and play your best golf ever with the 50 new stroke-saving tips in every Golf Digest. Call now for your risk-free trial issue. If you like it, get 11 more issues, 12 in all, for just $19.97. Plus, get this stroke-saving video free.
Call 800-417-1200.
A great tradition continues on ESPN2 Friday Night Fights. This week an all-women's card. In the main event, Jolene Blackshear defends her IFBA flyweight title against Margaret Sudaroff. Friday Night Fights tonight at 9 on ESPN2.
ESPN's coverage of EA Sports Supercross presented by Toyota Trucks is being brought to you by Honda Motorcycles and the 2000 Honda Race Team. Honda, ride red. And by the U.S. Army. Be part of the toughest, smartest Army in the world. Be all you can be. And by Suzuki. During Suzuki Fest 2000, get $400 worth of free accessories and great financing on selected models.
Wow, where did that come from, David? What a surprise. You snuck up on Jeremy McGrath, you made the pass, you beat him straight up.
Yeah, you know, last week everybody told me I won because Jeremy broke his front brake. And I prove, you know, tonight I can win when Jeremy is up front. And, you know, it's a good step for me to get that. And so we'll see in a couple of weeks if I can do the same. And it's good for the championship also.
He's being kind of humble, but it certainly has been good for the championship as Jeremy McGrath now with only a 2-point lead on David Villeman. LaRocco still in the chase, 8 points in back of McGrath. Wyndham and Carmichael rounding out the top 5. Our Davey Combs is with Jeremy McGrath. Davey?
That had to have been a bit of a surprise.
Definitely, that's a little disappointing for me. You know, I rode hard all night. I passed those guys for the lead. Everything was great, and I kind of settled into a little bit of a pace. I had no idea David was even there. My pit board kept reading, breathe slow, you know, breathe slow, flow in the corners, relax, and stuff like that. And, you know, I was thinking after I passed Ricky and Timmy, I was like, oh, I must have a little bit of a lead here, and I had no idea David was behind me.
We're going to step right up here next to you, and here's Ricky Carmichael. And Ricky, hey, congratulations. Welcome back up on the podium. Your first 250 Supercross turn up here.
Yeah, I tell you, it's been a rough road to hoe. I've been working my butt off, and things haven't been going too smooth. And, you know, I just need to put myself in good positions like that hole shot, and that's what's going to keep me up front. And I think one day I'll be able to run those guys' pace for 20 strong ones, but I'm just not ready yet. I think it's going to take a little longer to build myself up in the 250, so I can be like I was in the 125. It's just, you know, a lot of people expect a lot of me, and it's hard. These guys are really good.
Congratulations to Ricky Carmichael for his second hole shot of the year and his first podium appearance. And for that, he and Team Kawasaki gained our U.S. Army Teamwork Award. After so much success in the 125s, hopefully Ricky Carmichael is on his way to more glory in the 250 ranks. RC and Team Kawasaki, our winner of this week's U.S. Army Teamwork Award. Coming up on ESPN2, our next 3 dates from Houston, Texas on the 13th, on the 20th from Indianapolis, and the first of a twin bill at Pontiac, Michigan on the 28th. This is Art Ekman for David Bailey and Davey Coombs saying thank you so much for being with us from Phoenix, Arizona. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com.
Friday Night Fights presented by Miller High Life, and we're in Kenner, Louisiana. The main event, a world title is on the line. Jolene Blackshear versus Margaret Sidoroff, an all-women's fight card. In the news, shocking video surrounding the IBF indictments. We're talking to Zab Judah, Lou Duva, Lennox Lewis, and Layla Ali. And who knows who'll show up.
I don't think he'll be patient following Sellers around this entire heat race. If he has that opportunity again, I think he's going to go in there and bump him.
Larocco off the podium for the first time in the first 4 rounds last week when he placed 4th.
I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of passing down that straightaway and through that corner all night because of the difference in timing. If you don't get off the first couple of jumps just right, it changes everything down the straightaway.
Here's our leader, number 934, Team Yamaha's David Villeman. Boy, he looks as confident as ever, and why not after 2 wins?
He's on a roll right now, and as much as Jeremy McGrath the next heat has to prove, I believe Villeman has just as much to prove. Whichever of those 2 guys leaves here ahead of the other, really going to be a big story for the rest of this series.
Sebastian Tortelli, number 21, has a tough time of it. Brock Sellers tries to make the move. Here comes Sellers. Sebastian not wanting to bump him that time.
These guys are giving Sellers a little bit of a break. He's riding hard with him. I think they respect this kid. He's a 125 East rider just trying to get some experience in the 250. Maybe surprising him just a little bit.
Brock Sellers in second place now behind Villeman, with Sebastian Tortelli right on his heels. But you're right about that, David. He opens up his 125 Eastern season next week in Indianapolis.
Well, he's going to be feeling like he can muscle that 125 around after riding this 250 all this time, because he's muscling this around now.
You see it, 4 laps to go, and the battle for second is still fierce.
Here they come down the straightaway. Watch Sellers' timing.
Bobbles a bit. Here comes Tortelli. Oh, back and forth we go. Little tough box action. Picks up a cover.
Yeah, that could get sucked up in the rear wheel and be a problem. It's on the opposite side of the rear brake, the disc. So it shouldn't affect his rear brake at all, but if that rear wheel sucks it up in there, God knows where it's going to go. He's unaware of it.
Not much he can do. Remember Ezra Lusk picking up that tough box cover and having to stop.
That was just freak bad luck. I haven't seen that happen ever since, and there's been so many occasions as Tortelli starts to pull just a little bit of a lead now, where those tough blocks has saved these guys.
We'll see if Brock Sellards can go the distance. We'll be right back to find out. More EA Sports Supercross on the way.
Hey, welcome to the Suzuki Fest 2000 Deli. Care to try a new Suzuki motorcycle with $400 free accessories? I suggest the Katana 750 or 600 and a helmet. The Bandit 1200 and 600 are house favorites and go great with leather jackets. Today's special is the GS 500E with a side of gloves and a helmet. Everything's good, even the financing, like 0 down, low APR, and low payments on selected models.
Come into Suzuki Fest 2000 today. Free accessories, great financing.